For those of you that don't know me, social media, I'm assuming you found me through that, either Facebook or Instagram or both. If you're not on, or if you're on one and not the other, definitely join both. There are different things that I add to different parts. Also, I will be getting a YouTube channel up and running this week. Website's getting redone, all that good stuff. So yes, I do personal training. I am a specialist in fitness nutrition. I also graduated with a biology and bachelor's in biology and chemistry. I wanted to, well, I wasn't going to say I wanted to go pre-med, but benefits, all that good stuff, stability. Ended up working for a nutritional supplement company as a lab tech and made supplements. I actually made hydroxycut before, it was after it had got banned for like the second time. So I know a lot of what I've done though is what I know is really from the experience that I've been through, all the way from bodybuilding to where I did my competition. If those of you that don't know, I've done bodybuilding competitions. I'm also a health coach. So I do a lot of mental health coaching as well with clients because we get in our own way and we screw our own selves up. And that's why every year it's like new year, new me. And we're always trying to change stuff. Okay. And it's not that we need to change anything. We just got to get better at what we're not good at and figure out what we need to kind of just put to the side, because you're never going to totally get rid of stuff. It's life. Okay. Before I go into too much of all this crap, that's kind of me in a gist. Would love to get to know you guys more. So if you guys have any questions about me, you guys can totally ask because I love talking. All right, so I will be sharing a presentation again. Here we go. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my screen with everyone. Get this set up. All right. Which I need to share this one with you guys. Boom. Can you guys see this? Good. All right, I can see some windows right here. I'll kind of scroll through and make sure I can see everyone at some point and make sure we're all good. Okay, so here's what you guys are going to see. I'm going to click to another window because I have like a presenter view I'm gonna look at because I'm super nerdy and I took notes and stuff. All right, so this is the very end of the slide. Let me go back to the beginning. All right, so to start off with, here's kind of what I've just was kind of going over: health coach, specialist in fitness nutrition, personal trainer, bachelor's in biology, chemistry, good stuff, all the dates. Going to the next slide, here's what this webinar is about. It's about getting to know your macros, and I'm going to go into why it's important and literally go into why I personally think it's the most beneficial way of looking at food and how to actually feed your body. So who this is for, I don't care what you're doing. I don't even care if you're maintaining. If you're looking to lose fat, tone up, maintain, or build muscle, maintain. A lot of people want to maintain their weight and like kind of transform their weight, like lean out and tone up at the same time. Or if you just want to maintain a healthy, balanced lifestyle, you still need to feed your body in a certain way. And everyone's different, and there's different body types, there's different blood types, there's genders, which means hormones come into play. So there's a lot that comes into play, but I'm going to go into what I think of the very basic stuff that you guys can definitely at least take something, if not everything from here, to take immediate action for yourselves. Obviously going into the new year, but like right now, because all this stuff is doable on a daily basis. Okay. So, and that's the idea, is to build a lifestyle. Oh, admit. All right. So, Leslie, you just got into the presentation. Everyone's still good? Everyone can hear me? All right. So welcome to how this is going to be laid out, okay? There are going to be 5 major points. There are definitely some points, sub-points going into macros, obviously, because this is what it's about. But I want to really preset everything for you guys before I go into this, because this is where the health coaching comes in. Too many times people come to me and they have a goal, and that's freaking awesome. Set it, but don't fix on it, because life's going to happen, things are going to happen. And you know, all those stupid Pinterest quotes, I personally think they're stupid because like they're so true, but like when you're in the moment, you're like, screw this, but they're really freaking true. So there's shit's gonna happen and you're gonna need to still stick to your shit. So you're gonna need to set yourself up and realize that this crap's gonna happen. And that's the first part of making this a lifestyle, because I swear I am no different than you, okay? Except for like I know more about this. All right. And I'm ahead of you guys in my journey. That is it. Okay. So consistency, and I'm gonna go into all these, you know, individually. Fail. This is gonna be about how you are supposed to fail. Failing is where you will succeed. You learn from failing. If I didn't screw and do all the fuck ups that I did growing up, I'm sorry, I do cuss a lot. I grew up this way, ask my mom. But this is also who made me, or how I became who I am today. Oh, okay. Everyone's still good. Oh, chat. It says audience window. Yes. Is that good? Everyone can see the presentation. It's supposed to say audience window. I just looked at the chat box, sorry. All right, so planning ahead, obviously, like, and that's another thing. It's like people want these goals and want these results, and I have no doubt that you guys want these, and I have no doubt that you're gonna put in the work. Oh my God, that's bothering me. I have no doubt that you're gonna put in the work to get there, but it's literally putting in the work to get there, okay? And it's all the little small details that I want you guys to perfect, because even though they're small, they seem tedious, but like it's all the small things that set you up for success. Picking and choosing your poisons, because if you grew up and if your mother gave you everything you wanted to, you probably grew up a brat and you like didn't know how to handle yourself and take care of yourself on your own 2 feet. Eventually, hopefully you picked it up, and then boom, we'll get into macros. Okay. It's actually concealing the slide. I think you have to enter full screen window. Check your phone, Nikki. I sent a photo of what we see. Now do you guys see it? Good? Damn it. Did you miss all my cool slides before this? I put a lot of damn work into Todd's like, yeah, we did. It's okay. All right, so there you go. I'm not gonna go into it, but I do want to show you guys because I think this presentation is pretty cool, except for this part. All right, so consistency is what we're gonna go over first, okay? It's the name of the game. I mean, it's all these are Pinterest quotes that you're gonna see, because I totally look at Pinterest and I do a lot of reading and podcasting. But it's the name of the game. It's what you have to do to succeed in anything that you freaking do in your work. If you want to move up, you have to consistently perform every single day. So yes, consistency. And guess what? You're gonna have to consistently be aware of what you're doing, period. Because the only way to get better at what you're doing badly or wrong, I don't like saying like bad or wrong, but like you just learn from it, is to stay consistent, and you're going to consistently probably stay bad for a little bit. So if you're doing things bad, it's because you're not aware. All this is just awareness. Okay. The reason why consistency is important, and I tell this to my clients that work with me all the time, is because we are working to turn your body into a machine. Okay. Your body does amazing things, but also in turn, it does a lot of shitty things on the outside, like retain water and things of that nature, and, you know, project vomit when it doesn't feel good. And we hate those things, but it does those things for a reason. Okay. So if you stay consistent with what you're doing, I know it seems impossible and it seems undoable, and you're like, there's no way I could ever look like you, Nikki. And you don't have to look like me. Like, I've literally been told I don't want your arms before, but that tone look that you see or that you want to see, because everyone has freaking body dysmorphia when they look in the mirror to an extent. If you want to look that way, the only way to do it is to continuously stay consistent. And I'm not saying eat the same freaking thing every day and do the same thing and like all that stuff. It's a consistently staying aware of what you're doing, and you will continue to do some things, and then you will change some things along the way. But eventually your body adapts, and then it turns into a machine, and you can sustain your results. So enough of this yo-yoing, enough of this up and downness, enough of this dieting and I'm gonna try keto, and like whatever you want to do, and I'll get into that again, do it. If you want to do keto, freaking do it. I'm not really a supporter of keto personally, but all the other stuff like vegan, go for it. I'm personally not vegan. I like vegan like meals if they're not bad. Vegetarian, pescatarian. I'm an omnivore. I literally eat everything. Fruitarian, not necessarily. You get what I'm saying though. Like whatever your lifestyle is that you want to live, do it. And that's why I like macros. But I'll get into that in a little bit. So enough of the ups and downs, enough of, you know, just prolonging your journey. I tell this to my clients all the time too. Like the one thing, like, especially as I get older, I'm an old soul. I'm only, 29. I was about to say I'm only 30, but I'm 29. I hate wasting time. I'd rather waste all my money on something, like, because I can make money back. Like, you can't make time back. So every day, like, just be intentional with what you're doing, including your programming. And I could get into that, but that's totally separate. So take action daily and be aware daily of what you're doing and build good habits. And like, I promise I have anxiety problems. I can be crazy. There are tons of things that I'm working on in my life that still affect my fitness, but obviously I have my fitness journey under control. Okay. So the idea is to be your own hero. Like, you have to realize that what you're being consistent with and what you are being consistent with that is doing good for your future and doing bad for your future. And just because it's doing bad doesn't mean you have to cut it. You just might have to make some adjustments. Okay. So that kind of brings me into failing. Okay. Because you are going to have to make adjustments, and not just because your body, you have to figure out what works for your body. Like, even when clients work with me, like, I can give you something, but like, I'm experimenting along with you. I don't know what's going to work for your body right away. Everyone gets freaking results the first 4 months. Like, it's usually around that 6 month to 8 month is where like people plateau, right? And we have to make some adjustments. And that's where really meticulous stuff comes into play on like food sensitivities and figuring out, what really works for your body and how it works in order to keep progressing, right? So before you even get to the plateau though, like, you're gonna fail, like, for sure. Okay. So accept it and forgive yourself, because the one thing I do is I am so hard on myself, and I definitely got it from when my dad was hard on me in softball, and I grew up doing it to myself. But don't make things harder than they already are either. So forgive yourself and don't dwell in the mindset and start playing the victim and being like, well, I don't have the time, and I don't have the time to plan, or I don't have the time to go work out. Like, you're just victimizing yourself. I'm not disregarding anything you're saying. It's all valid. I don't care if you have 20 minutes though. That's time for something. And that's what you have to do sometimes. You're not going to be perfect, but just because you can't be perfect doesn't mean you can't do something that's still contributing to that person you want to be. Because again, we want to jump to this goal, right? But how are you going to turn to that person that looks like that, performs like that, and feels like that if you don't become that person and mold into that person along the way, right? Let me get a hell yeah. Okay. Megan, make your daughter say hell yeah. All right. So change your perception of failure. Like, I go through phases. Like, I swear I'm really moody sometimes. I feel bad for whoever I end up with, but perception, like, change it of like your failure. Like, you have to look at what you're doing and just realize, like, all right, it's okay. And then like look at it and fix it, learn from it. Again, don't play the victim, because that's like that side of our mind that like makes the excuse for us, where it's like, oh, we're like 30 minutes early to yoga, like I could just kind of dip out instead of like stay and still do the class, or leave early when I could just pull back and like still at least finish the class, maybe not to performance wise, but stay in the room. You know what I mean? So learn what not to do. Like, don't worry about what you failed at. Just learn, like, figure it out and then learn from it, right? Write it down. I got whiteboards everywhere. All right. So get right back to it. So fail, 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 cool, fall, 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 get up. Good. Okay. You guys have heard all this, but let me just remind you. Another thing, you've heard this too, plan ahead and, or, oh, I was about to say, and plan ahead or plan to fail. Or what is the other one, like, way you say it? Plan or plan, fail to plan, then you plan to fail. Yeah, that's it, whatever. So take time for yourself. Again, I know that there's people have third shifts, and I know nurses, and like the 3 or 4 days that they work in a row are hell. And like, I've worked with flight attendants, and I probably haven't worked with every job that there is out there. And I've worked with moms, but look, we have a mom on here right now who's taking care of her child and doing something in the kitchen, I'm assuming cooking, I'm hungry, and still having time to watch this, which is why I like podcasts now. So make time for yourself, even if you have to do it in the way that Megan's doing it right here. It's something. Okay. And then make time to make sure you get it, whatever you can in this time, and whatever you don't, like, after this, Megan totally can reach out to me again and like take time for yourself and like give yourself that chance to ask for help. Okay. So meal prepping and planning, we got to do that. Everyone hates it, right? Harold, how good are you at planning and prepping now? Yes, you're muted. It's cool. Boom, thumbs up. This dude, like, we were like, had to buy kitchen supplies. And now he's like, hey, I made extra chili. Do you want some? I'm like, hey, sure. He like is my neighbor. It's awesome. So make the time, but like you may not be good at it. So there's that failing again. And then again, just figure out what you're good at and then figure out what you can invest in to help make yourself good at that. Like I have a rice maker, I have an Instapot, I have an air fryer, I have things that like make my life easier. So that way planning and prepping is easier. So invest in yourself, which I didn't even actually put in this damn thing. So yes, I put this bullet point in here because I do like macros in the case that it's flexible, and I'll get into that when I talk about them. So you can track as you go, but it's also stressful, at least to me, especially perfectionist wise, which I think a lot of people are like that. And if you have a goal, obviously, and even if you have a time limit or if you don't have a time limit, I love when people are like, I'm getting ready for a wedding and stuff. But like, again, you're just wasting time. So like, if you're going to get to that person, like just take advantage of every day. There's no rush, but like, there's also like, you're not a sloth. And so there's no point to like purposely hold yourself back. So personally to me, tracking as I go stresses me out. I like to set myself up Monday through Friday because those are my busiest days as everyone's. I'm working, I'm on the go. I don't want to have to worry about anything. I'm going to stress myself out. I'm going to probably choose something that's super easy, something that's convenient, something that's not going to make me, reach my goals. And then I get mad about that. And then I dwell on that. And then like, I do all the same shit you do when it comes to that. So, flexibility is a good thing, but save the stress, structure yourself out, organize yourself out, whatever your busy days are. I know some people work on the weekends and have days off during the week. So I like to visit my weeks week at a time. Again, I'm not perfect. I end up, screwing up, messing up. And those are the times where I feel stressed again. So I do like to still look at my next day, the night before, and my week, that Sunday or Monday, whatever the start of your week is. And then repetition. If you just continue to do all the things that you're doing, again, you're going to continue to do good things and you're going to continue to do bad things. So making sure you're aware and then repeating these things to figure out what works for you to make your life easier. Harold's figuring it out still every day, right? He's figuring out how much seasoning to put on his stuff still. All right. So with this, there's a 20-30 rule because again, there's nothing I hate wasting more than time as I get older. I say 20-30 because it should take you no more than 20 to 30 minutes to plan your week, Monday through Friday. Obviously, that's not prepping your food and stuff. So that's like a little bit separate. But setting yourself up and like figuring out what the hell you want to eat that week. Like I usually do that on Friday and I'm like, what am I craving? Mexican, cool. I kind of want to, and like based on my macros and how I eat, I'm going to have taco salad next week, Monday through Friday. So like I make my grocery list. I try to use stuff in my inventory that I already have. So maybe I don't have to buy stuff so I can save money. But I figure out what I want and then that should take you 20 to 30 minutes after that. Okay. So a matter of 10 to 15 minutes, I want to say, to plan your stuff out, log it out in an app, and I'll get into that as well. So again, recording all your meals so that way, because if I don't have stuff kind of written down how I'm going to eat it, I will eat outside that. And it doesn't matter if it's good or bad, carbs or fats or protein or sugar. You're at the end of the day, if it's too much, your body breaks it down as fat still. So you're still not reaching your goals, which is literally everyone's problem when they come to me. You guys are not stupid. You guys literally, all of you guys know what bad food is. A lot of you guys come to me with the really good effort and intention of, hey, I'm eating, 5 times a day. Obviously, some of you guys are like once, twice, but I'm trying to drink water. I'm doing this. I'm having oatmeal and, a granola bar and fruit and salad with protein. And it's just still not the right stuff. And I'll get into that in the future. But 10 to 15 minutes to plan your stuff out in your MyFitnessPal, because I think if you have everything that you need to eat in that thing, I personally think you stick to it, just like we all do. And then 10 to 15 minutes to actually like lay that out and then like log it in. It should take you no more than that. Okay. And then we grocery shop, cook, I'd say 3 to 4 hours on Sunday. Okay. Listen to podcasts, listen to me be annoying and talk. So pick and choose your poisons. This is where I do like macros and the flexibility of it. The thing is, a lot of people like start, going on this journey and they're like, I'm doing good. And they're like, well, let me just have like a little cheat or alcohol or whatever the case is. Yo, I'm all down for that. Like for real, I could out eat any one of you people on here, including all you dudes. I don't care. But at the end of the day, when you have a goal, all you're doing is going over a speed bump, which is just making you go a little slower. I'm not saying, like, I give my clients real cheats every 4 weeks, like Papa John's, like, I don't care, but you need to give your body a chance to get used to what you're doing, because your body has been doing what it's doing right now for so long. And like, it's slow. Obviously your metabolism's slow. Otherwise, your body fat wouldn't be at what's at right now. So we have to figure out what works for you. And the only way to speed that up is to like stay consistent with what you're doing. And in order to be sane and flexible, again, that's why I like macros. But you need to be like good. I say about 4 weeks at a time. It gives your body a chance. Women's periods are supposedly every 30 days, So give your body a chance to get used to what it's doing before you just like throw bad food in it again. I'll explain bad food in a second. So you can modify with recipes. Like I tell my clients, if you're craving a pizza, let's make like a cauliflower pizza on the weekend. Or you honestly, sometimes we can get real, like a good nice ingredient crust and like make it fit your macros. You guys have heard that expression? Boom. Yeah. Okay, so you can modify, like, so there's the no real cheats. And then there are certain niches to follow. So ones that I personally stick to, that I get my clients to stick to, obviously, if you guys become my tribe, I recommend no heavy starch carbs after 6. So dinner time and everything like late at night should just be protein, fat, and vegetables. You're not using heavy carbs. I'm all for bread. You can totally have bread. Like it doesn't have to be Ezekiel either. A few of my clients do have Ezekiel. One of them's in here. But it's about making stuff fit your macros. So that's where the pick and choose your poisons come in. So if like you want fruit, cool, like put fruit in there, but sugar adds up. There's sugar in oats. Like there's like little bits of sugar and everything. So you guys get that. Then other niches. Other than that, I don't care how late at night you eat. And then every 3 to 4 hours, like ideally, yes, but I also do intermittent fasting. So I eat a lot of my food in a short window. And that's because of my lifestyle. I get so busy, I personally forget to eat throughout the day. There's so many things that become stressful, I think, personally. So like every 3 to 4 hours, protein 45 minutes after you work out, like all that stuff's a little too stressful for me. So at the end of the day, if you have the certain amount of grams of macros that you need to have, your body should do what it's supposed to do. Like, of course, once you get to that certain point, like, yeah, I'm sure those things matter, but that's like bodybuilding level. And I don't think anyone here is looking to get 6% body fat. If you are, cool, totally can help you out with that still, but that's when that really matters. And if you do all of that and modification and knowing that you're gonna fuck up, but also like still getting back on the train the next day, like you're gonna stay on track. And then you'll understand that you're gaining water weight versus like actual like fat weight. Okay. Because all the composition stuff is really what messes us up. So you are in complete control of all of this. And that's why I like it. But we also like to take control of everything. So again, that's why I like it. And the one thing we do throw out the window because we have control is this stuff. We throw ourselves to the back burner. So take time for yourself. So let's get into macros. Okay. This is probably, I mean, I say this in like a million different ways. This is just how I was feeling myself in this moment with the quote. Like I can say this, write the same sentence in a different way, but just do the best you can in the moment that you're in. And that's it. And sometimes it's not really that great. And sometimes you got to like close yourself off and just like figure yourself out. And that might be the best you can, but do that if that's what you need. Okay. And get back up. Okay. So let's get into the macros because this is obviously what matters. Why macros? Okay, I kind of got into this on Instagram when I posted a video on why I think it's important and hoping that you guys would come and watch this. So to me, it's sustainable. I've done the meal planning where someone gives me a meal plan and where I just eat the same thing every day. I've also tried a lot of diets like keto. It doesn't matter. I can get into all that. This is sustainable to me because of what I like and my lifestyle and things of that nature. And again, I can relatively stay on track for where I'm going. It's flexible to my lifestyle. If you want to go out to eat, like entrepreneurs who have, like I have a lot of entrepreneurs, they take their clients out. I get it. Like you don't want to be that person and like not get food. So again, it's just flexible to how you're living and doing. And like people who travel, like you might have to have something on the go, like figuring out how to choose what's good for you. It's not restrictive. And that's kind of where, like, again, you can't have everything you want. Like your mom didn't give everything you want. So to me personally, like I don't mind making a healthy pizza. Like I think it gets me through that craving until I can have like a real pizza. Like if I had Papa John's every weekend, I wouldn't look the way I did. So it's not restrictive. Um, to me, it's stable, because too many times, and this is what I did, is like I got a binge eating disorder, and earlier in my journey after my bodybuilding, when I was done with that, I kind of like lost sight on how to eat, really. Like I was scared of carbs and like all that stuff. And so um I would eat really, really low carb and like super clean, like pretty much like a bodybuilder eats in the last week and a half, 2 weeks of their show. And then I would eat really bad on weekends and then really, really clean. It messes up your hormones, it messes up your digestive system, messes up your thyroid. It can actually make you gain like certain types of diseases or disorders that stay with you. So it's stable for you, it's stable for your mental health and your physical health. Okay, so that's why I like macros. That's why we should do macros. Okay, and again, the flexibility. If you're vegan, cool, you can still eat in a vegan way, but you got to have so many grams of protein, carbs, and fats. We'll get into all that. So however you want to eat, freaking do it. Vegan is not healthier. I'm sorry if we have vegans on here. I like vegan food. It's cool, but it's not healthier. If you do it because of the lifestyle and you're an animal rights person, I freaking love every animal there is out there. I'm all for it. But don't do it because you think it's healthier. Like nothing's necessarily healthier. You have to figure out what's healthy for you. So what are macros? We have two big categories that our body like uses to live and survive optimally: macronutrients and micronutrients. Micro are the smaller things that we're supposed to get in foods, but we don't. I mean, it's America. We spray our crap and inject it and stuff. So vitamins and minerals, I can get all into that. I love them. I'm all for them, blah, whatever. These are what we're paying attention to. Macros are the big molecules, are the things that we eat. It's the protein, carbs, and fats in food. And that is all that's in a freaking food item. Okay. Sugar, it's a carb. It's nothing. It's not a separate category. Fiber, it's a carb. It's not a separate category. Okay. Saturated fats, unsaturated, they're fats. That's just a subcategory of fats. Okay. That's it. Most foods have a blend of all three. That's where it comes in. So to me, another reason why I like macros, we're going to get into this. Macros are calories. Okay. So for people who are like, but calories matter, right? I'm like, yeah, calories matter, but guess what? Macros equal calories. It's like when you convert centimeters to inches, it's the same thing. It's just some math, right? So when you have 1 gram of all of these, 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. 1 gram of carb is 4 calories. 1 gram of fat is 9 calories, right? So then you just do the math. And then if you have 100 grams of protein, you have 400 calories, right? And if you're supposed to have 1,200 calories, you do the math, and that's how you get 30% of protein of your diet. All that shit is for the birds. It doesn't matter. Just have the grams of protein, carbs, and fats that you're supposed to have, and it all adds up to the way it's supposed to, right? Keep it simple. I like to keep shit simple. It becomes too much because I did all that stuff too, and it was too much. And I have way too much anxiety. So don't calories matter. I think that's what this says. The freaking sharing screen bar is at the top. Yeah, don't calories matter. Yeah, they matter. Okay. So when it comes to weight loss and weight gain, but this is why I want to emphasize weight and more so body composition, what type of weight you're losing. So body fat, which everyone knows pretty much this nowadays. So yeah, weight loss, you want to take in less calories than you burn. Weight gain, you want to take in more calories than you burn. So for people who think that they're going to get big and bulky, which usually is mostly women, but sometimes honestly I have some dudes do that too because they are bigger. They're like, yeah, but I don't want to stay this big. I'm like, no, usually you're going to trim up, right? If you feed yourself the way you're supposed to feed yourself, you're not going to gain muscle. It's really hard to gain muscle. If you are gaining weight, you are eating more than you're burning. That's what you're doing what you're not supposed to be doing. That's what's happening. Okay. So keep it simple again. And you end up putting your body in a deficit if you follow macros still. So it still all falls into place. And here's where you see that. Calories fall into place. So the way that you put your body in a deficit while still having a nice whole freaking menu of food, right, Harold? Boom, he's a client of mine, of eating all the time. And the idea is to eat more because as you get stronger and get leaner, you think I eat less. From when I started, I eat more. My butt and legs need a lot of food. I'm just kidding. I mean, not really, but so you, Todd's laughing. You're walking around, you take a poop, you go pee, you're drinking, you're talking, you are burning calories, right? And most people, and that's your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, and your metabolism right now. Obviously, at the weight that you're at compared to where you want to be, your body fat that you're at, it's slower, right? So the idea is to speed it up. The only way to speed it up is to stay consistent and get rid of the toxins in your body and do what's good, right? So you have a metabolism. Muscles have a whole separate metabolism, which is why weight training is so important. Cardio is still important. But if you eat, honestly, the macros that you're supposed to have, and you have a solid weightlifting routine where you're working out 4 or 5 days a week, you really don't need to do cardio if you're not on a time frame. I promise. Like, but the cardio is going to enhance the fat burning. Okay. And I'll go in a brief explanation with that because I know that was just like, what? No cardio. So muscles have separate metabolism. So Todd over here is burning, but his muscles are also burning. If he's weightlifting and if he's breaking down his muscles, then his muscles are doing their own separate thing and burning stuff as well. So then you like kind of up your calories that you're burning on a daily basis. And that's why weight training increases your calories. Makes sense? Now it's all making sense. So that's why you want to fuel your machine. Okay. So that's why we want to eventually increase your calories. So calories and stuff like matter, but it's more macros. Because if you want to perform and feel a certain way, and if you want to look a certain way, body composition, it's how you proportion those calories. It's not how many calories you're having. So boom, body composition versus body weight. Nikki A versus Nikki B. Okay, I am having the same amount of calories. I usually have between 1,800 and 2,000 calories. Honestly, that's still too low for me with the amount of stuff that I do. Maybe not since surgery, but I should have like between 2,000 and 2,200 calories. You guys know on a food label, if you're not right now, go look later. It says average calorie on a daily basis is 2,000. Even women, you guys should, women, that's women. You guys should be 1,800 to 2,000 calories. Dudes, you guys should be like 22 to 25, like maybe, like again, everyone's different. Okay. And that's for like maintenance, feeling good. And again, that's depending on gender, weight, height, blah, blah, blah. So same calories, 1,800, same workout program. I'm lifting 5 days a week, same cardio program. I take like, 2-3 spin classes a week. It doesn't matter. I don't really think it matters what type of cardio you do, just burn calories. Unless you're an athlete. Proportioned calorie. So damn it. Nikki B is supposed to be on unproportioned. Nikki A is on proportioned calories. So I'm on a certain amount of grams of protein, certain amount of grams of carbs, certain amount of grams of fat. Nikki B is just on like 1,800, 2,000 calories because I'm not stupid. I'm still making that effort to eat good. So I'm waking up and I'm having oatmeal, blueberries. I have a yogurt. And then for lunch, I have salad with protein. And then I have a smoothie, if anything, in between lunch and dinner. And then I usually have for dinner chicken, sweet potato, and green beans. All that sounds healthy and good, right? Nikki A, though, is on a certain number of grams of protein, carbs, and fats. So here's your muscle and bone. You guys can see me in the screen, right, too? Good. Okay. Bone, muscle, fat. Your muscles are wanting to feed on what you're having. So the fat on top of the muscles, because you're increasing your calories and you're burning, the fat's diminishing, and that's how your muscles leaning in, you lean out and tone up. So because I'm on just enough grams of fat and carbs that get me through my day and I don't feel horrible and shitty, and I'm on a good amount of protein, because everyone has not enough protein for goals, of course. You don't need that much protein when you're not trying to build muscle. But the only way to tone up and tighten that area is to break down that area, like do a workout in that area, and then like feed protein to that area, right? So that's how you look muscular and toned. And that's all we do. That's all bodybuilders do. You guys pretty much are building your body. It's a sculpting project. I like to say it's an art and science project. It's art in the gym because you do all of your workouts in a certain way to look the ways that you do. There's short, long muscle fibers, there's fast twitch, all those good things. But the food still matters, because if you don't eat in complementation with your training, you're still like won't look and feel the way you need to look. So athletes are kind of a different category, but that's kind of you guys are all looking for this tone, probably look, muscular look, right? I mean, I'm sure my guys want to feel strong too. I mean, women, we want to feel strong too. Screw that. So boom, I'm over here. I'm going to be toned. Over here, I'm still going to lose weight, but I'm not going to tighten up. I'm not, my clothes, like they're going to get looser, but they're not going to fit different. There's a difference between your clothes getting looser and then your clothes fitting different. It is goals to have your waist and your jeans be big and like your legs be too tight. Like I can't even find jeans that fit me anymore. I have to wear leggings. It's awesome. So, all right. How do you know your macros? This is a very basic thing. Okay, you guys can totally take a picture of this if you want. You want to build muscle, maintain, lose fat. If you guys see these colors will stay consistent because these colors are what they look like in MyFitnessPal, which is the app that I'm all for using. Okay, so it's free. You do not have to pay for the premium version. Don't do it. The app is cool, but like it's stupid. Don't listen to the app. We just use it to log our food. We use the diary. So here's some percents. Again, the percents depend on how many calories you're having. So male to female, males are going to have more height. The taller and bigger you are, depending on like where you're at, the calories just matter. Like I can't even talk about that right now in a general category, but like 40 to 60% of your carbs, if you want to build muscle, 40% to 60% of your calories are going to be carbs. And then you can divide it by 4 for the grams, right? From the slides before. Okay. And I'll send this presentation to everyone who attended this webinar. And then Harold's going to go in the Facebook group with all the clients. Okay, so this is a general chart. I need to get into this a little bit more because everyone has different body types, and there's male and female, and there's age, and there's, you know, family history, like heart disease, like certain things, blood types, like there's so many things that come into play, but this is general, that where you guys can like feel like you can do something after this. You guys have seen these, right? Ectomorph, mesomorph, and endomorph. Okay, this doesn't necessarily mean skinny, not, you know, in the middle and then fat. There's like an actual shape and like way that your body handles food as well, which is kind of cool to know. So ectomorphs, these are the people that like they're just tiny, like they're long, lean, slender. Doesn't matter how like good or much or bad they eat, like they just don't gain weight. Like most people hate these people. So these are ectomorphs. Okay, mesomorphs. A lot of people are actually mesomorphs. A lot of people are this now, and I say now because this is like how this has been acquired. Like people are getting in this lifestyle that's turning everyone's body into this, and I'll explain in a second. So mesomorph is usually, you know, you're usually broader up top. I don't want to say broader because I have some females that are like, well, I'm not broad, and I'm like, yeah, you're kind of mesomorph. You have like an athletic upper body build, and like it's kind of easy for you to gain weight, even if it's not, whether it's good or bad weight. Like it's you can put on weight easily. You can also lose weight easily. And then your bottom half can either be kind of ectomorphish, and I'll get into that in a second because you can be a hybrid of these. And I'll tell you which way you should eat if you're a hybrid, because a lot of people are hybrids, and there are tests online that you can take to figure out like what body type you are. But mesomorph is usually kind of a smaller lower half, and I would say kind of a more upper half. Everyone builds fat in their midsection and that tire. Like, don't worry about your midsection so much right here. This, and like that's where all your hormones get released. The water retention's there. Like, don't like look at that part of the body. Same thing when you take these tests. Look at the answers. Go with the one that is most authentic to you in that moment, because you could eventually relate to every answer if you stare at long enough. Answer it, move on to the next question. I promise. I'm like every person there is on this earth. So endomorph is usually the people that carry the weight in their lower halves, and they usually do have a smaller upper body. Actually, their shoulders are usually more narrow than their lower half. So I say that because a lot of people just are very sedentary nowadays. And even if they get up and they're walking, no one like a lot of people don't put like a nice intentional effort into working out. And if they do, unfortunately, a lot of people do a lot of classes and stuff, which is great for energy and stuff. But as you get older, like you need intention behind your programming too, if you want to look and feel a certain way. So people like tend to forget about, you know, some strength training and cardio, and you want a good balance. So I'm all for all the types of workouts and yoga and stuff, but you need to make sure you're doing a routine that makes sense based on like your goals and what you need to improve on, even if you don't want to do it. So there's the body types. Now, macros with your body type. Again, if you want to take a picture of this is how you should eat for your body type. Let me go back real quick, because if you're a hybrid, I personally am an ecto mesomorph. Like Before I gained my binge eating disorder and messed up my digestive system, like now it's kind of easy for me to gain weight. Plus, as we get older, no matter what, it's easy for you to gain weight. Like your body's just not working as good. You're getting older. It's what happens. That's why you got to take control of it so it starts working better. But I'm a combination of an ecto and meso personally. So you can be an ecto meso, right? You can have that athletic upper body, but more of an ecto lower body. But it's also kind of hard for you to put on weight, but it's easy for me to lose weight too. So, and then you can be an ecto endo. You can also be a meso endo. Go take your quiz, okay? So if you are anything mixed, if you are an ecto meso, if you're anything mixed with a meso, eat like a meso, okay? If you're an ecto endo, eat like an endo. If you're anything with a meso and endo or an endo, I would suggest eating like those because these two usually overpower this one right here. Because a lot of people have that in them, even if they don't think it. Go take the test. There you go. Okay, percents. Ecto, meso, endo. There's really, I mean, I don't need to talk about this. Screenshot, boom. Okay, I'm gonna send this to all you guys too. Oh, do we need a screenshot? Someone? Ah! Good. I'll scroll through the next videos. Hey, Beth. All right, cool. All right, so how are we gonna do all this crap that we talked about now? You gotta keep track. So here's what I want you guys to do tomorrow. So that way you feel successful. It's Monday. Boom. Let's start your freaking week off right. Let's start tonight off right. Download this app right now. If you don't have it, download it right now. If you have it and it's not set up right. Well, no, actually, just download it. Don't set it up because then you're not going to pay attention to me. Set it up tonight. Put in your stats. It's good. Like, it's not bad. Don't listen to the app though. It's going to assign you calories. It's going to, like, if you want to actually, if you're not working with a coach or with me, like, of course, actually, maybe listen to the app, but don't fix on the app. Follow the percents and the macros that I gave you, but maybe listen to the calories that it gives you. And of course, if you guys have any questions, I'm going to give you guys questions too. If you guys have any questions, reach out to me. Just log your food that you eat tomorrow. You don't even have to plan because you might not, you're probably not going to be like, I don't even know what the fuck to do right now. Log everything you have tomorrow because even if you guys DM me and you're like, what am I doing wrong? I can't tell you unless you know what you're doing. And you might know what you're doing, but you don't unless you're logging it because I need to know what you're doing. And I'm going to show you what it's important to look at of what you're doing because everything matters what you're doing. But there are definitely some key things that we can look at to give you guys a start, right? So download this app. Log all the crap you eat, even if it's McDonald's, log it. I know how many calories and sugar is in a sprinkled donut and like a jelly donut because I logged it just for fuck's sake. But it's like it also like makes me feel bad. I like being in control of knowing what I'm putting in my body. So I don't care if I love McDonald's still. My mom's like, what are you doing? I really do. Their nuggets are not real, but I know the macros of them. So MyFitnessPal, and then keep track of your water. I don't want to get into that, but if I'm gonna ask you, I would ask you that too. I'd be like, well, how much water are you drinking? Water matters for so many things. If you guys want to know, tell me, and then I'll put something on Instagram because that'll give me some content to put out there. But I'm gonna give you guys the floor for some questions. So boom, go chat or you can talk.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I enjoy having a beer. And then there's sometimes where I'll go out and we'll have a lot. So like how does that like is doing that just so does that gonna screw everything up? Does that make sense? Is that a question?
Totally a question. Totally makes sense. Valid question. Definitely gonna talk about alcohol. So the only way to get better from where you're at is to do better than what you're doing now. So for example purposes, how much do you drink? How many drinks do you have a week? Don't be embarrassed.
It varies 10, 12. Sometimes I can have almost that in a night, but
Nice. I cannot drink like that anymore. I would die, but I used to be able to. How many days in 7 days? How are those drinks divided up?
normally at night it's just like maybe one or two. And then some days it's like I don't drink at all during the week, but then on the weekends, like you were saying, I have meal prepped and I try to I still don't know what I'm doing and I try to do this, but then on the weekends it's kind of like Papa John's and drinking and all the stuff. So
Right. Okay. So first things first is consolidate it, I would, because you have to give your body that chance. So if you have out of the 7 days, if you're having them 4 days, you have beer, your body needs to get rid of it. So it probably takes about 2 days, maybe longer, I don't know, maybe shorter, for your body to get rid of the beer that you had. And alcohol gets broken down to sugar, and sugar gets transferred to fat normally if you're not using it, right? Then you have beers again the next night, but your body's still breaking. And so it kind of piles up, if that makes sense. I can get into that. So I would consolidate it first things first. And
what do you mean
then
by consolidate? Like only drink
2
on
days.
Saturday? Or
Yeah, like Friday, Saturday.
that's not very much fun.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay, how about this? You do whatever you're doing now, get rid of one night. That's what I was gonna say, is just do better than what you're doing now, and you will continue to gain or lose weight and lose fat. The moment that's where keeping track is. So keep track of if you keep track of what you're doing and then keep track of yourself along the way. I like pictures. I don't like weight. If you have a tape measurement, cool. I like tape measurements. But we want to know composition. So if you don't know how to like test your body fat and all that good stuff, or you don't have someone doing it for you, pictures are going to tell you everything, and they're also an eye opener, so they're going to make you get that discipline. If you see yourself and you saw yourself gain weight from what you did that week, the only way to get rid of what you did that week is to figure out what you did and get better from that. So if you're having 12 drinks a week, go to 10 and maybe make those 10 in, instead of 4 days 3 days, or 5 days 4 days. And then you'll get progress, and you'll be on, and you'll feel good again, and you're gonna be like, I cut one night, like, and then you're gonna have to cut some more eventually, depending on where you're at. If you are happy with where you're at, that's where you're maintaining. Now when it comes on the weekends, so that way you don't throw everything to shit, because there is still a balance in a lifestyle. I'm all for, I told my clients to not count shit on holidays and like events, like celebrate, weddings, like have wedding cake and stuff. But on the weekends, like on a regular weekend, and you want to just pizza and beer, which one do you want? Do you want the pizza or do you want the beer? If you want the beer, have a healthy pizza, or have a healthy something, or something healthier for your dinner, which most people like to choose alcohol over food. So they end up having like fucking something healthy, and because they want their drink, and then drink smart. So I do love beer. I used to like the darker ones, but my taste has changed. Now I like the girly, like wheat beers now. But I don't really drink beer anymore because the yeast is a lot on your body, and your body really, that probably makes you gain fat more than like liquor. So if you want 5 drinks in a night, like have 1 or 2 beers and then have some liquor. I know people say like don't, but I hope you don't get hammered. I mean, I don't know. You get hammered now? Hell yeah. But does it make sense?
Yeah. Yes, that does. That helps.
Okay, good. I mean, I like Bloody Marys and martinis. I'm an old person drinker.
Oh yeah, I meant alcohol just in general, but yeah.
Hell
But
yeah.
if I'm gonna drink, I should drink liquor. That's what you're saying.
Clear liquor, yeah, it's probably the best.
Ooh,
And then like
vodka.
in clubs, like don't mix it with like all the juice. I use essential oils, or I'll use like lemon or lime juice, or just like a slice of fruit or club soda with a slice. I would say essential oils if you're like any of y'all's wives, or any of my girls do it. Lime, lemon, orange, literally 2 drops, and that drink is a cocktail.
Gotcha.
You're
Thanks.
welcome, gentlemen.
Kind of a quick question here. So I've done lots of diets too, like you said. One of the things that I always gravitated toward was eating a lot less food during the day. One of the things that still kind of surprises me is, as I'm using the macros and the meal plans you've given me, it feels like I'm not sacrificing the amount of food that I need to have in order to be fit and healthy and feel good, right? So can you kind of explain why that's different?
Yeah, so thanks for saying that too. So I didn't pay him to be here, guys. Have you guys ever seen a picture where it's like a plate of food, chicken, rice, broccoli, just because that's the average, whatever that you guys think of, and then like a protein or granola bar, and it's like same calories, same macros, and it's like you choose which one you have? That's where it's like, that's why it's good, because it's flexible, right? Because you still have macros in food. So what happens is people come to me, and unless you're eating like low calories like Harold, or if you're eating healthy, you're eating too many grams of carbs and all that stuff. And that's actually what Harold was doing too. Like the way he was eating was just, it was super low calorie because he was attempting to eat healthy food, but in his calories, he was having too many grams of carbs. He wasn't having too much sugar because he's diabetic, so he watches his sugar. He was actually having too much fat. That's what he was like. Your fat was like high as hell. And you weren't having enough protein, right? And we were kind of starting to be active. So there's other things like factors that were coming into play. So what happens is you eat more food because all the food that I'm giving you, there's nutrients behind it. And because you are strength training, whether you're doing weights, barbells, CrossFit, like whatever it is, do a resistance training program, because the only way to build and tone and tighten that muscle is to break it down. So don't just do cardio. Okay. Your muscles crave nutrients. So all that food is high in nutrients, but low in calories. Whereas all that good, bad food that we like is high in calories because there's nothing in it. It's made of nothing but calories, like stuff that's not real and that we can't use. Right? So when you're building your body and you build that machine, and as you gain muscle, even if you're losing fat, and you're not getting big and bulky, you're gaining muscle, your muscle wants more food. You're not going to get big and bulky because your metabolism speeds up too. So girls, even when you're leaning out and toning up, and I'm increasing your calories to 2,000 calories, your basal metabolic rate has increased because you're a badass machine now. So you're still in a deficit because you're increasing your metabolism as you do it. And that's where you stay consistent. Make sense? It's gonna, okay, this is a good thing. So this isn't really related to macros, but this is weekly planning. So once my website's launched, I will have a shop and I have ebooks I'm gonna have ebooks like this. So Tavares, 7 days, you can talk now. In 7 days, how many days a week do you work out?
Honestly, maybe 3. And that's just cardio. Well, a little about me, I teach a cycling class. So
Nice.
that's where I'm pretty much getting my workout in. And I saw you this morning, by the way.
Oh, hey.
I need to start lifting. I haven't lifted in months. A lot has happened this year. I'm trying to stop from making that as an excuse, but I do need to lift. And listening to you about lifting more or less cardio, I was trying to get your take on that. Especially like if I'm overweight, would you consider more lifting and less cardio, or?
Not so much. So figure out, the only way you're going to stay consistent is to build a routine and regimen that you're going to stick with. So in 7 days, how many days do you teach the 3 days? Are those your cardio days? No, obviously you take one.
I teach the 3 days. And,
oh, you teach 3?
Yeah, and there's actually been a couple of days I take another class, another instructor. So I would say probably from 3 to 5 a week.
Okay.
And that's just cardio, but I haven't been lifting.
So it's not that I would do less cardio. Figure out how many days a week in the 7 that you actually want to commit to working out, because if you don't want to burn yourself out either. Focus on your own intentional extra working out that you do on lifting, because you're getting your cardio in no matter what you're teaching. Okay. And you'll go and take a class because you get sick of teaching like me. Like I like to actually enjoy a class as well. So you'll probably do 4 classes a week. So if you don't want to burn yourself out, figure out how many days a week you want to do a strength training or some sort of resistance training program. If you need a recommendation, I recommend a minimum of 3.
Okay.
I don't like an upper and lower. I don't think you break down your muscles enough throughout the week. So how you program it obviously depends on like you, and there's like all that stuff matters. So of course, if y'all have any questions separately, does that help though?
Yeah, it helps. I know obviously my eating sucks, so I have to work on that as well. But also, I know you mentioned about the keto, but also, what is your thoughts on intermediate fasting?
I like intermittent fasting. It's definitely good for your digestive system. I definitely help. It's a cleanse. I like it. I don't think it will make or break you. Like people think that they have to do something or it's going to get them there faster. And like, if you like the idea of it and it works for you, because like sometimes we don't like what we first do anyway, and we end up liking it. So try it. But if like after 4 weeks, if like you're like, this is stupid, like don't do it. Like, but I like it. And my lifestyle, like the reason why I did it and started it is because I didn't drink enough water, and because water matters so much, especially when I was getting ready for that competition. You want to drink more water so your body doesn't retain water. So, and when I'm eating, I don't drink water either because I'm like full on food. So I wasn't eating until 12 or 1, but I was hungry when I first started because I wasn't used to it. So I was getting at least 80 ounces, 60 to 80 ounces of water before like I had my first meal. So I knew no matter what, I was going to at least get 100 ounces that day. So I did it because of water. It helped me with water. But now I've gotten so used to it. Like I can go until 3 in the afternoon and I get busy. I just don't think about it. And I'm like, oh shit, like I gotta eat.
Yeah, see, I was thinking that because I do tend to have a busy schedule throughout the week, but as of right now, I'm off from my full time for the rest of this month. But I was
Hell
thinking,
yeah.
but yeah, I love that. So I can do 2 a days now. But I was thinking about that because the way my schedule is set up, like sometimes I don't even eat till like 11 o'clock or 12.
Just make sure you get enough protein. So if you don't know how much you're getting, log it. Because if you ask me any questions, those are the questions I'm going to ask you anyway. So at least be ahead of me and be able to answer them so we can get somewhere with the questions.
Okay. Okay.
Right. Carissa, yes, I weigh all of my food. So I use a scale, measuring cups and tablespoons, because on the serving size, it might say serving size 2 tablespoons, but the label gives you fat, carbs, and protein in grams next to them. And then on one of the slides, it was on there, and I'll send that to y'all. In the carb section, there's sugar and fiber. You want to pay attention to sugar because you want to keep it low on a daily basis because it adds up more than you think. You want to subtract fiber from the carbs that you see, and that is your net carbs. And those are the carbs that I talk about when I give you guys how many grams of carbs I want you to have, because you're going to go over that number in vegetables because there's carbs in vegetables. They're a carb. But like spinach and like all the greens, like they're carbs, but like it's all fiber too. So it's like nothing. And then scale ounces of meat. So that way, when you're logging stuff into MyFitnessPal, you can still log like tablespoons and cups because I do that. But then on MyFitnessPal, and then I'm not gonna, when you guys actually use it, then I'll tell you where to go look. You'll look at the pie chart. It looked like what it did on here. Underneath the pie chart, there's your macros and there's grams and parentheses, and that's what you look at. But I'm not gonna get into that until you guys actually come to me and you're like, hey, I did that. You gotta do it first. Is there a scale you recommend? Amazon bestseller, cheapest? Not cheapest, like good reviews. Don't get like a $2 one that has 1 review. Good. All right. I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna give you guys that 4 minutes just to go to 8:10 because I'm OCD. I'm surprised I hasn't cut you off yet because I only had this at maybe I had it at 65 minutes or 75, an hour 15. But take advantage of me. You have 4 minutes with me. Use me. Hey, Meg. Got any questions? All right. Well, let me talk about this then. So I'm going to be popping these webinars out. If you are following me on one media platform and not the other, follow the other. Okay. In the new year, I have a lot of stuff coming out. I'm really excited for it. I'm going to have a website that's going to have a membership base to it, and I'm going to have a 3-tier type thing. I'm going to have a lot more like offerings basically, and it's going to be tiered out so that way I can at least offer some sort of thing in every person's life. And then obviously the more individual it gets, that's, the higher of the tier. But no matter what, you guys are capable of all of this. And no matter what, all we coaches do is we just know what we're doing. So like we can start off at a head start, but then we know how like bodies work, and depending on how the coach, like I just know what I'm doing. And like, but sometimes like I hit a stump too. Your professors, same thing. Like they had to take the courses in order to teach the course, right? And they fuck up when they're teaching the lecture. I'm so sorry. Todd has kids around and they totally can understand what I'm saying. He's like, you're good. That's what I'm saying. My current parents grew up around like, what the fuck? Like, so I will be hosting more webinars. So just stay tuned for those. If you guys ever have questions, just freaking ask. I have tiers of consultations. If you guys ever want one-on-one time with me as well, whether it be 30, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, I'm going to tier that out a little bit more for y'all. And then like if you guys want any content or if you guys have any questions, like I put content out there for that. The bottom tier of one of my subscriptions is like a Facebook group where I throw content in there, and that's what they're going to start paying for, right? Anything. Like I'm huge on mental health, like the weekly planning. If you don't plan, you're not gonna be able to do all this shit anyway. So it doesn't matter. Like, and all that stuff gets messed up in your routine and your mental health. And it's not that you're crazy. Like, it's just like shit happens. Like, you have babies, you have kids you have to take care of, and then they have sports and stuff maybe. And then like, what do you got to do? Like, you have the kids, you got to take care of them, right? So I'm going to do a Q&A webinar for sure. You guys saw in the email, my next one is on my breast aug. So yay for Nikki, had a breast augmentation. So that'll be going into my, like kind of my 3 months. That's more for my women because I had a lot of women that really were asking genuine questions, and I'll have a Q&A going into next year. And if you guys have any like suggestions, hit me up and be like, yo, you should do a webinar on this because I need that. I'm also going to start doing live talks with other fitness influencers, some very powerful women and men as well. So if you're like, hey, like you should totally reach out, like I don't give a shit. I'll try to reach out to someone. Like I'll totally reach out if they answer my message. Or a topic that you guys want to talk on. All that stuff is free for you guys. So pay attention to that. Stay tuned for that. YouTube will be up and running. Okay. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Unless you guys have any questions, we got like a little less than 60 seconds. I hope you guys have an amazing Sunday. You guys have access to me via social media and email. Okay, bye. I'm hungry. Bye, guys.